Moving on after a breakup is always a challenge. Do you cut things off completely with your ex, keep things amicable, or try to actually be friends? The ways to communicate with your ex are as unique as the relationships themselves. So how do you know what to do? But with something like dealing with a breakup, whether you've gone through a divorce, you're a child of a divorce, or you've just broken up with someone in your life, it doesn't matter how expert you are, everyone kind of goes through it, and you have to go through the motions sort of the same ways that anyone else would. I want to walk through these 5 steps. Secret number one is look at who is upset. Nikki, can you explain this a little bit more?
Okay, well, one of the, my background is really in healing. So I really look at everything as a healer and really trying to get us all to heal what we need to heal. So the first thing is we cannot heal when we can't feel. So, when we're being triggered, when we're angry, when we're jealous, when we're being triggered in any way, that's really a sign that we're ready to heal. And it's the sign that we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what do we need to heal? Why are we being triggered like this? So it's really the starting point for any conversation as far as I'm concerned.
I know for me personally, it's really critical to keep my relationship on a very strictly business level and make that transition between the emotional and business level. I found that to be very hard in the beginning, but it's been well worth working toward. And the consistency is really key. I have found that to be in my own case, and also as I guide my clients, especially in high conflict divorces that involve co-parenting following the divorce.
What do you mean by a business relationship?
Well, it's really tough to not fall back into old patterns of communication, but I highly recommend to my clients that they only communicate through email that can be printed out and it has a time and date stamp. And I really recommend that they write it like a ransom note. Just think of if each word they write costs $5,000, what's the least amount of words I can put in this communication gets my point across in the email.
I think it's really interesting how technology is changing the way people break up and how they deal with breakups. The younger generations, when they're maybe breaking up for the first time now, as Jessica was saying before, being on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, you're following this person, you're friends with their group of friends, and it's hard to escape their life, their future life without you. And it's creating these boundaries or these lack of boundaries that maybe we didn't have before when we actually had to, discuss things over the phone or see them in person. You could walk away from a relationship and never really see a person again. But now it's almost impossible to escape somebody, especially when you've been with them for, longer than a few months, years.
One of our downsides is that we tend to be pretty avoidant of awkward conversations or confrontation. So you do hear that story more and more of the breakup text, or what is the way that I can break up with them that is the least uncomfortable for me? And what I always tell young people when they're talking about how do I end something in this ambiguous time when we weren't maybe even official, or we'd never really set up boundaries, how do I end something that maybe never officially started? I always tell them that you want to walk away feeling like you acted like the person you wanted to be. So you want to be that person who gave someone closure, who can walk away, who did what was best for everyone, and not the person who sent that breakup text because they were too scared to look at someone face to face or actually hear them being hurt over the phone. But you really have to be you have to be forward facing, and you really have to sometimes step over yourself and say, I know that I could avoid this and send the 140 character text and never have to think of it again. But that's not the person I want to be in the world. And hopefully we can more and more start acting like those people.
Nancy, how do you know when you don't have as much baggage as you did when you broke up and you are ready to devote yourself to a new relationship, or at least try one?
I think it takes quite a bit longer than we wish that it would personally, because I know as trying to date after divorce, after 20-year marriage, I waited till my divorce was final, and I thought that I was ready, but I really found that that wasn't the case. And so I ended up taking a break again quite a bit longer. And I also really check on who I'm going to date, how long that they have been, their divorce has been final, because it's a really essential. I mean, you can really get heartbroken by getting involved with someone that says that they're emotionally ready for another relationship, but deep down, they haven't done the personal work and the growth that they need.